What's up, everybody? New to here. Let's paint some stuff. Oh, what a day. I am very tired. I've had a lot of coffee. I had a very long, busy weekend editing YouTube videos. But I think that they are going to be much better than my existing YouTube videos, putting a lot of effort into making sure that they are exciting, entertaining, worth watching. So look out for those in the next few weeks. I do still have a few of the old ones that are ready to be published. But the weekend's over, the busy weekend's over. I'm ready to paint. So let's do it. So last week we started this top section of this dress. It's a really strange color. It's a really strange article of clothing. A lot of it's just weird. The color I got is a bit more brown than what I was looking for. I was looking for a little closer to gray, but it didn't turn out that way. But we can still use what we've got. So because I knew I wasn't going to be painting for a week, I threw my paint into this little canister, jar. I don't know what it's called. But made sure that it stayed wet. And now we're going to scoop it out of here, and we're going to be using the same exact color. Now, actually, this did cure a little bit. It's definitely not completely wet. Oh, geez. I just tried to put the cap of my medium onto this. Wow. So, we're going to start here. Whoa. Actually, because we're starting here, let's get a little bit closer on this section. I'm going to try like hell to not hit it with my head or face or arms or a paintbrush. So we do need to leave an edge on all sides, even the bottom. So let's get going. This might be too light. In fact, I think it's absolutely too light. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some burnt umber and I'm going to mix it in here, because I don't want to try it out, risk it, and then find out I have to redo every value I've done today, which would be absolutely catastrophic. So okay, we need to wipe this off. Oh geez, hitting the camera. Okay, that is the benefit of using oil paint. If that was acrylic, that probably would be dry mining. So let's try this out. I think this is better? I'm not quite sure. This is kind of strange. But we'll see how it goes. I'm going to do this whole shape and maybe another shape. Watched one on Instagram. That's so cool. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Saints. That was a time lapse actually from the video, the YouTube video that will be going live on Wednesday. A lot of time lapse is going to be on YouTube, because I just don't make progress fast enough to not do a time lapse. So if you think about like, I'm thinking of like like Bob Ross. I don't know if you're familiar with Bob Ross Yates, but he was able to start and finish a painting in 30 minutes. And that was basically like perfection, you know, if you were to carry it over to Twitch. Talked the whole time, walked you through it. It was short and fast, and a lot of stuff was packed into that half hour. But the way I work just does not allow that, you know? So I have to try and find a way to work the way I work, keep that level of, you know, quality that I, you know, want to keep, which kind of requires me going slow, but still kind of increase the interest. So I'm like trying to be like super introspective and like self-aware of my stream and trying like hell to get better. I know that sometimes I just feel like I shouldn't be painting. Like I'm just not in the right frame of mind. But usually once I like get into it, it kind of sorts itself out. But that's definitely a concern sometimes for me. But you know what I do when I really feel like I'm in a creative block is I look at other people's artwork. And what I do is kind of really weird, I guess. Maybe it's not, but it works really well for me. And that is I write down the five properties of a painting or just 2D art. I guess it applies to 3D art too, but SCIVL, shape, color, value, line, texture. And I'll make like a column for each one: shape, color, value, line, texture. And I'll look at other people's art and I'll identify ways that I can really I'll single it out and say shape. Okay, what do these artists do that really makes shape interesting and works really well? And then I'll go to color and I'll say, what's something from these artists that I can really steal for myself? And you know, something that maybe it's a color combination, or maybe it's, you know, two very contrasting colors that do something for me, or maybe it's just a color variation. Maybe rather than moving towards gray, I move towards blue or yellow, you know, instead of just, you know, painting what I'm seeing. And I'll do that for shape, color, value, line, texture, until I have a lot of ideas for an image. And then from there, it doesn't really matter what you paint. You could literally just paint the corner of your room, but you have all these ideas for how to make something interesting that it kind of, you know, you're no longer worrying about what to paint. you're inspired, objectively, and you can list the things. Because for me, if I don't list them out and I have to remember them, I'm going to forget them. And I think like making things that you don't like sucks, but you have to do it. Like, you can't make every single thing you make amazing. It's just not sustainable. It's not realistic. And that's something I definitely struggle with, especially with the limited time I have. Like, if I were to put the amount of time I put into a painting into something and have it just not be like good in my eyes, is just like catastrophic. I have a question for you. How easy is it to get your art displayed in a gallery? Now, is that like in general, or do you mean my work specifically? Like my experience with my work? Because in general, you can pretty easily enter like a juried art exhibit, enter just like one or two things, a handful of stuff, and a lot of them you'll get something in, and juried art exhibits are really good if you don't have a lot of work, from my own experience. So for my own experience, I found something very, very, very interesting, which is, if you are working with juried exhibits, galleries hate big paintings for juried exhibits. So, looks like we got some favorites. Won't forget them. Come back to them. Galleries hate large paintings for juried exhibits because what does that do? It means they're sacrificing more wall space per person, per artist, and they want lots of people, because the more artists that they include, their fans, the people who love their artwork, will come to the show, right? So the more artists they have, the bigger their branches. So if you want to get into a juried exhibit, do not work this big. I have other smaller paintings that have been exhibited no problem, but if I submit a clearly stronger painting that's large, it will not be accepted compared to a small one. Now, I haven't tried just one single big painting. I have to try that out. That might be what I have to do. In terms of like getting a solo exhibit, I just don't have the work for it yet. So I'm kind of stuck with juried exhibits, or putting things in like smaller venues like coffee shops that show art on the walls, or restaurants that have art on the walls. And to be honest, that's not a great way to get your art in front of people who are actually interested in buying or collecting, or even remotely interested in art whatsoever. So Vincent van Gogh for me. I've just started learning about more artists. Awesome. If you like Van Gogh, I highly recommend Rembrandt. They're two completely different styles, but Rembrandt also worked with a lot of portraiture and a lot of contrast. Not so much color contrast like Van Gogh, but value contrast. And Rembrandt is like, it's got to be in my top 3. I don't know if you're here, but I actually brought up Van Gogh earlier in the stream about because I put my brush in my mouth And it's, I'm pretty sure, widely accepted that the reason he cut off his ear for his girlfriend was not, depression or, a nervous break or anything. It was actually white paint. The pigment used in white paint back then was almost always lead. So lead was the only way to get a white paint, and you can't paint without white paint. And he would put his brush in his mouth a lot, and it was always on his hands. And they think that when he died, he had very, very advanced lead poisoning, which caused his mental break. And it's also, they think it's the reason why he would paint halos around things like lights and brighter colors, even though there wouldn't normally be a halo there. And I guess that's something to do with lead poisoning. When you have lead poisoning, you see halos around, not just bright lights, but bright colors and big, solid shapes. So ever since I learned that, I try to be very, very careful of putting my brushes in my mouth, even though I don't use lead paint and they don't even sell it anymore. But that has scarred me for life. I'm gonna call it a stream. So thank you for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, please consider liking if you liked it and subscribing for more if that is something you'd be interested in. On Twitch, as always, thanks for hanging out, and I will see you tomorrow night, the same time, same place. Thank you.